Welcome in, everybody. Episode 2. Today's topic, social media. Let's get right into it. Backcountry here. How you guys been?
Not too bad. Second episode.
Oh, yeah.
How are you feeling about it?
Pretty good.
Today's topic, we got social media.
Yes, sir.
A lot to cover. So,
It's just social media is kind of like going over it. The stuff you see, it's just kind of a not so realistic expectation that you get. Because you kind of take that into your hunting. And
yeah,
then,
it's nothing to compare to.
right.
I mean,
Like you see all these influencers out there, they go hunting the big box blinds and stuff with the tinted windows or whatnot. All their scents kind of in
yeah.
a place. They have all the soundboards up and everything so they can talk
I'd say,
regular volume.
most of these influencers do it for a living too. So, they get, the best of the best. They have what they want, what they need.
Mm-hmm.
It's nothing that you should compare to, especially when you're just someone who works a normal job and goes out and does it for
Right, especially
a
if you
hobby.
don't, especially if you don't travel or anything.
Yeah.
It's just like you kind of stuck in one place. It's like you look at all these guys on the internet. They're out west, down south a little bit, and they're killing these 200-inch deer. And like realistically, where we are at in Pennsylvania, that's not very common. A 200-inch deer is very uncommon around here.
Yeah, once in a lifetime.
But I know like you can get some high fence deer around here. The world record was killed up here in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, not that long ago.
Yeah, that
1,011 inches.
was about 2-3 hours away from us.
Yeah.
To Quest Haven, Tyrone.
It's a world record.
Yeah, that's pretty
crazy.
crazy. How big was it?
1,011 inches.
Wow. Killing a 200-inch deer would be crazy, but
Yeah, let alone
170 inch deer would be crazy.
yeah. 1,000 inches, dude.
Wow. You get what you pay for, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, those guys are killing 200-inch deer like it's nothing.
Right.
Like we kill 8 points.
Wow.
I don't know. All those guys, they travel, they hunt high fence, get guided, whatnot.
Yeah. Yeah, most of the time, I'd say they are guided. And if not, like I said, it's part of their job. So they have property. They do everything. They set up for it. They have these deer. They watch over them. And, they have it,
Yeah, I think even Josh Bomar, he gets guided on a lot of his stuff,
For all of his out of state hunting, yeah.
Like even his elk, he made that one video. And here's the expectation that you shouldn't follow, because he was guided up into elk, and then he still had to shoot, what was it, like 90 some yards, like close to 100 yards with a bow.
Probably.
So it was very
Yeah.
very daunting task. So just keeping the expectations. I mean, not that you have to keep them low, but just watching social media, just be careful what you, don't just look at social media and think you're going to go out and kill whatever, Because a lot of those guys do get guided, and I know there's a lot of talk that Bomar doesn't get guided and stuff, but
Yeah, I mean, I think all of his whitetail that, he's harvested in Iowa and wherever he has property, I mean, it's just all, his living is to, regulate the whitetail, and, he only harvests, 190 plus.
Mm-hmm.
So, pretty well every year, he has one.
now
It's
that
big.
I don't know if he's guided for his whitetail.
I don't know.
He
makes videos.
he has property.
Because
I
he makes
believe.
videos with his food plots and
I
stuff.
know anything that's not, anything that's not like a common species, he's getting a guide.
If he's not in his home state, it's probably guided.
Mm-hmm.
Which, that's what pretty well everybody
Right.
that gets a tag somewhere else, that's probably what they try to do. It's just a different game wherever you go that's not, home.
Right. And like Seek One, they go around all the time. They go around in different cities, but those are cities that nobody hunts.
Cities, and if the landowner says no, I mean he brings out a checkbook and
Right.
he makes a price work.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not
So,
That's
I
just
mean-
what they can do.
I wouldn't say it's very easy to find people that just, yeah, go hunt, do what you want.
Just get out and try it.
Especially for whitetail, but
Yeah, I mean, for influencers, I mean some pay for high fence and some pay for fair chase, and I think that part of it goes hand in hand. I mean, yeah, fair chase, you can go, like the deer can go anywhere, but it's just you're still paying for the harvest.
Right. Yeah, like in the city, Seek One they go to like right in between houses. I mean, there's probably a 200-yard stretch of woods in between two houses in a housing development, and they're hunting there. So it's just like places where people can't get, and we could try to go to the city, and like Levi said, they could say no, and we don't have the checkbook to bring out and say, here you go,
yeah.
let me hunt.
Yeah, I mean, usually the bigger deer are hanging out in areas where most people don't want to go, or most people don't even think to go.
Low pressure.
Right, in the smallest spots, like little pieces that overlooked
Just
most of the.
Overlooked low pressure places.
And a lot of times it doesn't have to be big at all. Like there's places that Seek One is hunted, and it's been an acre, real small. Even like Buck Commander, I used to grow up watching them a good bit. And Adam LaRoche, he used to be a MLB player. He has a ranch called the E3 Ranch out in Kansas, and they go there. I think they go there every year. They make a video on it. The Buck Commander does, but it's pretty crazy the deer that run around there. I mean, but then again, like he paid probably a good bit of money. I mean, he played in the MLB, paid a good bit of money to have that probably set up, and then over the course of the few years, they
Takes a lot of money to manage that.
manage it. They kill deer that they want to. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'd love to own a whole bunch of land. The deer stayed on, and that they had everything they needed. They stayed on there, and you could manage them the way you wanted.
Right.
But again, that's not realistic for all of us.
Yeah. Well, I'd say in hunting, too, if you don't have luck, it comes down to money. I mean, money can always get you a big deer, but you're not always going to see the biggest deer if you're just out, using what you got. But, it's worth going out.
I mean, I think with money, it's like if you pay for it, you almost don't get the same satisfaction that you do if you go out and find your own.
Way more of an accomplishment to know
you find
that
your own.
you did the work.
It's not a one-on-one with whatever. I mean, it's somebody else does the work for you, and you go out and
You don't go out
take the
and
fruits of
find
their
your
labor.
own. You don't go out and find your own sign and hang and then hunt. You're getting people that tell you where to go. All you have to do is show up with a bow or a rifle and
Know how to shoot it.
shoot it. Yeah.
Well, I mean, even then, I've heard stories of people who, they pay to go out and hunt these big animals, and they don't know what they're doing at all.
Yeah, I
Or
mean,
they don't get one. Then that's like you're out, whatever it is, a couple $1,000.
yeah, I know. Whenever we went out west to get the antelope and mule deer, I mean, it was a DIY, and I mean, it came down to the last day, I think, the day before until all our tags were filled, and I mean, the animals were far from cheap, to get tags and trespass fees, and I mean, it's just going out of state with one tag. I mean, it gets pretty pricey pretty quick.
Yeah, it's hard. I mean, there's a bunch of different ways to go about it, but you just have to choose the way that's most, the way you can use it the most and the way you can do it,
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely beneficial stuff out there. I mean, stuff that I've learned from, stuff that I've put into my everyday, hunting, whether it be clothing systems, whether it be calling techniques. Some people talk about wind a little bit more than others. Some people focus on whether you hunt bedding areas, whether you hunt feed. Different people break it down in different ways. It all makes sense, and I think it's our job to, go out there, see what works for us, and whether it's both things that work, put them both into play, and
Right. Yeah, and there's a lot different from people who hunt private land and public land. But I mean, high fence is a whole nother
it's just a
whole nother animal.
pay to play. I mean, they're definitely cool to look at, but I mean, just you get what you pay for. I mean, if you're looking for a freak of nature, I mean, you pay X amount of dollars and you get X amount of inches.
Right, but then again, like I said, like whenever you pay money or whatever, you don't get the same satisfaction as you do to go out and do it yourself. And then
No, I mean,
Is high fence really hunting though?
I mean, I'd say it is.
I'd say it's more
it
so.
depends on how big. I mean, you can get into
the Quest Haven Lodge. I was up there and for a couple summers, and I mean every deer on that property that's, whether it's inside a small pen or a big fence. I mean they're as wild as the deer that we have here. It's just they can't escape the 1,000 acres that the reserve's on.
right, and I think it depends too on, is it hunting?
I mean,
I
like,
think it depends on how many acres they
I mean,
are in.
it all depends on, like, there's people here that hunt out of tinted box blinds, and if they do the same thing there, I mean, the only difference is you just have bigger whitetail that you got to pay for versus, smaller whitetail out here that you don't have to pay for. I think that's just the only thing
Well,
that's the difference.
I mean, not only that, but when you're in a high fence, you're guaranteed there's deer in there. You're not always guaranteed that you're going to see deer, on public or private.
And it's like you get in the high fence, and you can get on. There's some high fences that are like 200 acres, 300 acres, and you put 4 or 5 box blinds on there, and you can pretty much secure the entire property at one point, at one time.
More of a shoot than it is a hunt,
Right. And then it's like, then I don't think it's hunting. Once you get that low of a acreage per blind or per person, whatever.
I mean, yeah, like if you have a big reserve with, lots of different animals, I mean, it'd be no different. Just you'd see more deer and have more opportunities there than you would here.
Yeah.
I mean, I think there's some people that hunt, out of a lock on or tree stands. There's some that choose, the box blinds, and just the same as we would here, for fair chase whitetails.
Right.
Yeah. I'd say, getting back into the social media thing a little bit, most of the things you're going to see on social media, you're going to see a lot of high fence stuff. I would say, there's some bigger influencers who do have their own private, but I don't know about a lot of influencers that do public.
Hunting public. I know that Sequan did a couple. I mean, there's smaller people that do it all the time. I mean, but all your big influencers like Levi Morgan,
If they're not on
If
private, if they're not on private, then they're paying for it.
Yeah. Well, yes and
the
no.
big guys aren't really on public.
I mean, there's a lot of a lot of big creators that'll do a lease also. So,
yeah.
I mean, somebody has a 200-inch whitetail on their property, and hey, I'll give you $10,000 to hunt them for this season, and that's their
true
lease.
too. Yeah, but if they're not getting permission on private, like you said, they're paying for it, and
Yeah,
they're rarely on public.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's not like one of those things where you're going to have this big influencer who's going to just go out on a busy public land where there's already 15 people hunting, whatever it may be.
They're not going to willingly go out and hunt that where they don't know if there's deer.
The influencers are going to do what they can to get what they want, for.
They have to make content.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, overall, it's just keep your expectations in reasonable range.
Yeah. I mean, just learn what you can, and use it.
Learn what you can with what you have.
Use what you can, whether it works or doesn't. I mean, we got time to learn, so try to learn.
It's not worth comparing yourself.
Yeah, just try to get out there. I mean, the best way I ever learned was to just do it. I mean, see somebody do it online and, test it, see if it works.
Execute it, right.
But I mean, there's a whole lot more aspects to it than paying somebody to do it. If you're like us trying to hunt public or permission private. And
Yeah, just around our small town.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's a good stopping spot for this episode. Everyone go follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and give this podcast a follow. Stay updated for more episodes. We'll catch you guys in the next one.
See you guys later.
Adios.